Today, we are excited to welcome Alysha Ellis. Alysha is a serial entrepreneur, ecosystem builder, author, and creator. She is an award-winning business leader and innovator. She is the creator and founder of Mas LaRae, lead visionary of Ignite with Light, and she is a co-founder of FutureLAND, happening this week, plus many, many more initiatives that have all made a significant impact in the greater Cleveland community. She is invested in developing and sustaining innovative solutions, advocating for community and equity, and intentional collaboration. She actively gives back through her time and talent and is a graduate of the Onboard Cleveland class of 2019 and a past presenter with our Accelerate Civic Pitch competition. We are so excited to turn it over to Alysha.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you all for joining. It's so many familiar faces. I feel like this is just amongst friends. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I did practice this, sharing my screen part. I haven't done a formal presentation in quite a while, so I'm going to make this super conversational and less formal. I have my FutureLand t-shirt on, and we're going to get into this, but I'm wearing a couple different hats, and that's where most of you guys know me. For those who do know me, I've done a lot of different things in the city, some cool things, some things that I don't want to go back to, as a lot of you guys kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit, done a lot of different things in the city. But today I want to try and limit it to just talk about Mas LaRae and FutureLand. So I try to put together some graphics that can kind of help you transition over into the work that we are doing with the conference, with the movement of FutureLand, but also the work that I've done over the last 10 years here in the city as an entrepreneur, as an advocate, as a leader, and thus far. So I appreciate the bio, Rachel. As she mentioned, I'm an entrepreneur. I started my first company in 2015, a business that I co-founded with my mom, health and wellness company called Freshly Rooted, as I was studying my undergrad at Cleveland State. So I'm definitely a Cleveland native, went to John Marshall High School, graduated from there, then went on to Cleveland State, and has just been all things Cleveland branded, and excited also to be a part of the Cleveland Leadership Center's alumni group as well. As mentioned, I'm an author. I published my first book in 2021. It's a personal, really just journey of my personal transformation, kind of growing up in the city, kind of going through different systemic issues, generational poverty, first generation of graduate students. So I share a lot of that experience in the book. It's definitely a personal read. So if you haven't already checked that out, you guys are more than welcome. And then other notes are connector, creator, strategist. By day, I am a consultant, as if I don't have enough to do. I offer my expertise in different spaces around DEI work, community building, community engagement, small business advancement, and economic development. And that's how I really get pulled into these really exciting projects throughout the city and region. It's just based upon those experiences that I've lived out personally and that I represent for communities that I'm a part of. So with that being said, that's a little bit about me. And then Mas LaRae, for those who may not know, Mas LaRae stands for More Light. It's a multimedia platform where we help share stories through diverse storytelling, different channels like podcasting, blogging, writing articles, different curated, intimate events that we open up for public and invite only. And it's been a passion project of mine for the last 4 years that's turned into a business of mine. And it's really just a platform for us to continue to shed light in the world that kind of seems like there's a lot of negative or dark news. We try our best to highlight the good things that are happening in our city, the good things that are happening around the world. And we really want to amplify the voices of diverse storytellers through entrepreneurship, creatives, artists. And this is a great way that we've done it. This past summer, we hit a milestone in publishing our 100th episode on the Mas LaRae Show. So we've been doing that for about 3 years. We started off during the pandemic in 2020. And I did my first interview on Facebook Live. If those who remember, Facebook Live was a very popular thing during COVID. We were tuning in from our kitchens and our living rooms, and we were just continuing to build community that way. And we did over 40 interviews on Facebook Live during the pandemic. And our focus was to showcase stories of movers and shakers and leaders and entrepreneurs that were still persevering through during the pandemic when so much of our world was shut down. So I really wanted to create a space where we shared our stories, and it really turned into something great. And that's kind of what people see today with Mas LaRae. And we've done workshops, we partner with different universities, we come and we help students talk about storytelling and talk about their personal brands. And I could talk about that all day because it's definitely one of my purpose and passions in life. These are just some cool pictures of different events that we've done, different open mic nights, different workshops, different panels, and ultimately wanting to create that platform for diverse storytelling, and uplifting voices so that they feel that they're heard and seen in a world that is very fast and busy and not always creating space and time to talk about these type of stories. Then what's exciting right now, and what I believe the whole city is talking about, at least that's what I like to believe, is FutureLAND. It kicks off officially tomorrow. So if you ask me how am I even on this conversation call right now, it is because of my dirty chai lattes and working out in the gym that kind of keeps me sane in this season of all things FutureLAND. But we are kicking off officially tomorrow. Here's a really great screenshot of some of the speakers. You might recognize them, of some local, but also national and global brands. So I'm going to speak a little bit about the conference because it's literally tomorrow, and then I'm going to talk about what what FutureLAND really stands for and what it means. So folks can still, get connected to the conference that starts off tomorrow. We have different activations from NASA to Tetris. I don't know who remembers playing Tetris on PlayStation back in a good old day. We are featuring Tetris exclusive with the Ilthy Street brand. We're celebrating their 40th year anniversary. So we're doing an exclusive gaming museum of the full 40 years. We're having a gaming tournament. So it's different type of activations like that. We have 70 plus speakers at this point, and I hope it's not in counting because we got to close the door on those type of activities. But we have a whole lineup, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all day at Playhouse Square and the Idea Center, that's just right next door to Playhouse. And it's going to be full activity and engagement, highlighting different speakers, different brands. We have Netflix, folks from Netflix, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Man, there's so many different brands that are coming out and partnering with us. Again, want to acknowledge, kind of go into this, what is FutureLAND? So want to acknowledge our founding partners, United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, the City of Cleveland, and Jumpstart. And overall, FutureLAND, and then our founding entrepreneurs, which include me and 5 other entrepreneurs who were just crazy enough to raise their hand in 2022 to say, sure, we'll plan a conference and develop this brand in about a 3-month window, because only entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs at that time, would raise their hand to say, yeah, that sounds like something I want to do in the midst of all other things that we have going on. But overall, FutureLAND is a movement. A lot of folks get excited about FutureLAND, the conference each year, which is around October, around this time. But what we're aiming to do is create the movement of FutureLAND, which happens 365, where we engage and collaborate with community anchors in Cleveland, to really stimulate creativity, innovation, economic development, all focusing in the thread of technology, entrepreneurship, art, and culture. So it's not a surprise most of you are Clevelanders on this call. We face a lot of systemic issues here. And as we break through some of these disparities, such as the digital divide, we partner with Digital C and what they're doing in getting our whole city connected to affordable internet, right? It's hard to talk about technology in pockets of diversity and inclusion when folks are not even connected to the internet. So we're trying with many of our partners to create a more inclusive, creative approach to getting our communities connected to technology, whether it's through business, whether it's through their creative expressions or through art and culture. And we're really putting it and making it fun, making it attractive, and making it immersive. And so that's what the movement has really shaped out to become, and it is continuing to grow with many of you who on this call even who have supported. I want to shout out Michael. He was a part of our steering committees last year that I helped really rally in the troops. But ultimately, we're looking at how do we build a robust, diverse tech ecosystem here in the city of Cleveland. So with the mayor's support and his administration's support, it's an all hands on deck effort. And the conference each year is one way to showcase the work that's happening throughout the year and to celebrate that work. But also, we need to shed light on the challenges and why we're not in the talks like a Miami or Austin or even a Nashville now that is emerging in these tech spaces. How do we get more minorities of color, women, young minorities involved in creating this really robust ecosystem in our city to be not only a regional leader, and this is one thing that it came from a thought, but also a knowing that we can compete with the best. At the same time, we can lead. And I believe this effort with our partners, all of you, our sponsors, our founders, our folks that engage with us on a regular basis, they are buying in to the fact that Cleveland has something special, and we want to be able to show that, to the world, attract talent, do all those great things. But I can go on and on about the work because it's fun, it's exciting, I'm passionate about it, but I'll take a pause. Here's my contact info, and I can kind of leave this up for a while if you want, Rachel, but just want to thank you all for tuning in today, and I'm excited to answer some questions and explain more about the work that we're doing, whether it's through Mas LaRae, through FutureLAND, or other initiatives that I'm a part of in the city.
Great, Alysha, thank you. Actually, we're going to stop screen share for just a minute so that everyone can see the conversation. So thank you for sharing the work that you're doing, which reaches such a wide array of the community. So with the idea that FutureLAND is starting tomorrow, what have you learned from the past 2 years of that experience that may impact what this week's experience is going to look like?
Oh, that's such a great question. Um, I think the engagement from city residents, from our partners, from people outside of the city who's come to Cleveland and like, I've never been to Cleveland, but this is a great conference. I think it's being able to take their experiences and incorporate them into the conference the following year. And we've done a really intentional job this year of what I call rallying in the troops, getting people involved in the conference, making it feel. We did a panel discussion last Saturday, and one of the attendees mentioned like this is the first year that, and it's only been 3 years, mind you. This is our third year. So one of the participants said, this is the first year where it actually feels like it's by us. And by us, meaning by entrepreneurs of color, by women, by younger people. And that for me, like really settles into the home in my heart because that's the point. We want people not to feel like we built this for them, but we want people to build this with us. And we've done a very intentional job on bringing people to the table, creating more spaces for them to bring their own tables to the room, and really making this thing equitable. So that's one thing I can say is we're very intentional on the feedback that we receive and making sure that people's voices are heard and it's integrated into the conference design each year and that we progress each year with that feedback.
What type of audience are you expecting over the next couple days? Where does the conference draw from, locally, nationally? Who's coming to town?
Yeah, that's great. So from a speaker standpoint, we're drawing in a national speaker lineup as we've done each year. So this year we have Everett Taylor, who many of you may have heard of. We're partnering with the City Club to introduce that forum on Friday at noon. And Everett Taylor is the CEO of Kickstarter. He's one of the youngest tech CEOs who also is a minority in the world. So highlighting his story and his work for a multi-billion-dollar company and making sure that folks at a local level get to see that and be inspired. That's always something that we try to highlight is bringing folks in that's not only going to spark inspiration, but can also spark those connections that are necessary. We're bringing in folks like Cole Bennett. For any music goers, we do a good job of connecting different trends like media, music, different industries, and how do you highlight tech through that. So Cole Bennett is one that has disrupted the music scene over the last decade through music videos, using different technologies, using social media. So he's one of our headliners. Dreamville is a music label that a lot of folks, and definitely obviously urban cities, are excited about. To have the founder, co-founder, and president of Dreamville, who's managing a very global artist named J. Cole. That's his one of his labels. We're bringing back a fan favorite in Kim. Not we're bringing Kim Lewis, who is a huge in the beauty care. She sold with from Shark Tank. She was been on Shark Tank and growing her business to multi-millions. And then we're bringing back a fan favorite in April Beverly. She's out of Atlanta. She's the only third time returning presenter. So that's exciting. And then from an attendee standpoint, from an audience and who we're hoping to bring out and who we know, we're around 1,300 and counting. We know Cleveland is a last minute city, so we're expecting a good influx in the next 24 to 48 hours of folks. And making sure that we want to really leverage our partners and our community organizers, and even giving them a shout out to making this thing happen this year. Also, each year that's not really publicized is our youth track. Each year we have had students integrated into the conference from high schools all over the city and all over the county. Year one, we had about 60. Year three, we had about 300 students that was in partnership with Cleveland State and Tech Corp, where they did a hackathon. So those things are very exciting when, they're not always necessarily publicized. So we're expecting young people, we're expecting our seniors to come out. They're always, I love hearing feedback from our seniors that they come and they support, they volunteer, they give back. And so it's a beautiful collective of collaboration to bring this forward.
As a young entrepreneur yourself, what are the benefits and challenges of being located here in Cleveland, and how might FutureLand present those in an honest way to those who are attending?
Ooh, that's a good question. These are all good questions. Um, yeah, I think there are challenges, and I know that through FutureLand, we're not hiding away from those challenges. We're not hiding from the tough conversations. And I think that's one thing, maybe for the first time in our city, at least that I've been aware of. I'm also young, 32 years old, so I haven't been fully around the block as long as some of the others on this call and who have done this work and have laid a pathway for us to move this work forward. But we don't hide and run from those challenges. We talk about the tough things. We're bold about it. We're disruptive about it. I think from an entrepreneur, how I started this work was advocating for other entrepreneurs. I mean, through my first business, I was trying to find resources that were available for the company that we had at the time, and I couldn't find them. And so I was going through all the programs, all the networking opportunities, and then I started advocating for other entrepreneurs. And that's really what got me into this advocacy work that has turned into a business of its own for myself. So I think there's a lot of challenges, but I try to focus on the solutions. We know that there's challenges, we know that there's problems, but how do we solve? And one thing with FutureLand, and Michael can also testify to this, with our steering committees, we did an intentional job on talking about them, but also the folks that want to do the work. There's an opportunity to get involved. There's an opportunity to solve for these issues and these challenges. And there's room for the table to be creative. I don't have all the answers, nor do I want to do all the work by myself either. So we create spaces where entrepreneurs can get involved, learn about resources, share those resources, get access to funding, get access to capital. And we can't deny the fact that so many young entrepreneurs have left the city, so many young talent. I mean, we have a retention issue in our city, and anybody in this space, they know that's one of our leading challenges, to keep young talent here in the city. And we need to do a better job on getting younger people involved, not just on campus, but in the city through organizations like yours, and through organizations like the folks that are on this call, to making sure that they see that this is a place for them to thrive.
So let's pivot a bit to focus on your business and the stories that you tell. So, are you seeing any kinds of trends among the stories that you're cultivating in Mas LaRae and some common lessons from creators and entrepreneurs?
Oh, common trends. I would say that one trend that I see is that people are, especially when I first started out, people were just so excited to share. I think we see like sometimes you can see on the news channels, like there's these 30-second to 60-second clips or videos of a highlighted business, but it never really goes deep into the story of their business or their journey or how they got there. So when I started doing these interviews and leaving it up to 30 to 45-minute talking points, it was just like you really got to dive deeper. And one of the trends that I found is a lot of entrepreneurs and creatives do what they do because they feel like it's part of their purpose. Um, and purpose really just became not just a trend in Mas LaRae, but became part of the foundation of our storytelling platform. And how do you help people discover their purpose, but also how do you pull that out of the story that we're sharing? Because many of us know in this stage and age, it's not enough just to have a day job. You have to have a side hustle. You have to have multiple streams of income. That's just a society that our society is evolving into. And so talking about the purpose and why creatives or entrepreneurs do what they do, um, you really get so much out of them by asking those specific questions and you can go deeper. So that's a trend that we've seen. We've also seen that the younger students, when we do pop-ups or we do workshops, how excited they are to get on the microphone and be asked about, what's their story. You're talking to someone who's 15, 16 years old. Maybe no one has asked them before, who are they? What do they want to be known for? Where do they see themselves in 5 years or 10 years? And then we always leave our platform, whether it's a podcast episode or a workshop, wherever we're at, we always leave every space with asking this question of what's your pure message? What pure message do you have to offer to the world, to our audience, to the viewers who will be watching or listening to this at a later time? And when you take that minute, that 5 seconds to 1 minute of someone to process that, it's like this magic kind of happens. So it's exciting. I think there's a lot more to come with Mas LaRae, and it's something that I'm obviously very passionate about, helping people share their stories in a different and creative ways too.
Sometimes stepping into the unknown and trying something new can feel really risky, or folks might have a hard time really leaning into that. But you've kind of jumped in and started many different projects and initiatives. What have you learned along the way? What kind of advice would you have for someone who's thinking about getting something started?
Yeah, that's good. The time is now. I think oftentimes we wait until like when's the right time, like this magic, everything in the universe is going to align and the stars are going to align, and that's the time that you take off. That never happens. It never is going to happen. It's about taking the step that you need right now. And one thing I encourage folks who are in that ideation process or on the fence, maybe they're working a 9 to 5 and they want to start the company, or they have an idea and they want to take it to city council or want to take it to this local CDC and to get sponsorship or partnership. I think we suffer a lot from fear of what are they going to think? Are we going to get rejected? Will we get the support that we need? And I think for me personally, it's not taking no for an answer. If you feel like something's in your heart, it's in your spirit, it keeps you up at night, it's all you want to talk about when you're with your friends or your significant other, it's like that's part of your purpose. And we can't wait for someone to ask us to do something that's a part of our purpose. We have to step in that boldness and that courage and walk in what we believe is for us to walk in. So that's what I would say. I think sometimes we're pushed into it. And that's one thing I found with sharing these stories is like so many of businesses come from like, well, I was homeless and I needed this. And I created this app because I was sitting in my car or sleeping in my car because I was homeless. So a lot of these stories or a lot of these businesses really come out of a place of this is all I have. And that creates this purpose, that creates this identity that's attached to our business that's not always transactional, but it's rooted in who we are and rooted in where we're going. And so that's what I would say. I think it's definitely stepping into it because now is always the best time. And don't think that it's gonna look exactly how you think it's gonna look. Entrepreneurship is the most unsturdy, unpredictable. I don't care how many Excel spreadsheets you have. I have a master's in business. It did not prepare me for entrepreneurship. It prepared me to work a corporate job, but it did not prepare me to understand like this is what I'm thinking about at 2 a.m. and I need to be on calls and I need to follow up. I need to hire and so don't think it's going to be easy, but know that if it's what you're called to do, you have to walk in that and those things will align as you go.
Who are some of the key collaborators or those key relationships that you have that you've really leaned on along the way?
Oh, that's good. Well, first I would start with I'm a very spiritual person. You might pick that up in my dialogue or my content. My relationship with God is my foundation, and so I can't acknowledge support without that first. It is where I gain all things from, and from that relationship, it opens up doors and opportunities of more relationships with people. How do I move? How do I strategize? My family and my close friends who support me and see me running around sometime. I mean, this past probably 3 weeks, my family have seen me run around like a chicken with a head cut off, grabbing this, running in and out, trying to make things happen and get the conference going. So that support system is critical. And sometimes that's not always about people who you're related to, but about people who genuinely see you and know what you're working on and believe what you're working on and finding your tribe. I think that's a big piece is sometimes we get stuck in the people we grew up with that they should be the ones supporting us, but it's hard. It's hard to grow and have people grow with you. So if it's not those people that maybe you were raised with or grew up around, it's finding the people where they're at. And one thing that I found in these spaces that we help create these events and these safe spaces for people to share is I found my tribe in those spaces. These are the people who love me, they love on me, they pour into me, I pour into them. And so that's a support that's on a personal level, on a professional level, definitely mentorships. I've had a range of different mentors in different seasons of my life where maybe I was heavy focused on business or community or trying to finish my education and I needed specific mentorship to get me through those situations or those seasons. So mentorship, and then for projects related, right, there's always dollars and resources associated with those projects. And so finding the right partners to not only invest in you because they see a return financially, but they want to invest in you because of who you are and what you believe and what you stand in. And every partnership, even if it looks really good, you have to do your homework on, what's the expectations and how are they benefiting you and how are you benefiting them. So I definitely can talk offline about those type of partnerships because it's really important to understanding who you're partnering with and what's the mutual benefit on both ends.
So, with our last moment here, you have a special offer for everyone who registered today. Can you share what you are going to be sending out as a follow up to today's session?
Yes, I mean it shouldn't be too exciting or too not that it's not exciting, but it shouldn't be a secret. I'm gonna offer everyone one complimentary ticket to join us at FutureLand if you haven't already received your ticket or purchased it. We would love to personally invite you to join us starting off tomorrow through Saturday. Rachel's gonna send out the promo code after this conversation, but we'd love to have you join us and have a good time and see about all the work that we've been doing and see if you guys are interested in getting involved in any way.
Alysha, thank you for your generosity and thank you for all you and everyone involved in FutureLand is doing to elevate entrepreneurship, IT, all of the things here in Cleveland. And we wish you the best of luck over the next few days and look forward to hearing how it goes.
Thank you so much, Rachel, and thank all of you for joining. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys at the conference.